This crane has been several different colors. I think I remember it like a rust red when I was little. And now it is green. A brilliant green, by the way. This is Key Highway. And this is the Baltimore Museum of Industry. We are in the historic heart of Baltimore industry here in South Baltimore, on the other side of the harbor. Here in the evening, this is an unplanned stream. I just finished an event in the local area and thought I'd come up here and try to grab some sunset light, although it's getting cloudy now. And it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so I might not get out for a Main Street walk tomorrow. So I thought I'd do a little walk now. This is Key Highway in Baltimore. The Inner Harbor is that way. We're on the south side of the harbor. Normally I'm on the north side of the harbor. This is the amazing Baltimore Museum of Industry, and any school kid, I don't know, for the last 50 years, okay, it says 1981, so for the last 44 years, made a field trip to this museum, as did I when I was in grade school. And the Baltimore Museum of Industry takes you through all of Baltimore's historic trades, particularly around the water. And one of the things you can do here is there's the assembly line or the assembly process for an oyster packing facility. And you get to do, as a little kid, you get to do all the little steps, and then you get to create your own little can, and then you make your own little cans of oysters. It's a cute thing for kids to do in Baltimore. This is Baltimore, Maryland, in the United States of America. And this is the industrial part of the city, just south of the Inner Harbor attractions. And this is the Baltimore Museum of Industry, a really cool, fun place. If you're a kid or an adult, there are other historic activities here, seminars and things. I just attended an event a few minutes ago, not here, but close by here. And so I thought I would do a nice little walk here at sunset. Hello, Rohan from Sweden. It's great to see you. Joseph or Yosef, great to see you as well. Hi, Zalzala. I'm very happy to have you. Thank you for joining. We're going to take a little walk. This is Key Highway in Baltimore. So this is shipbuilding central here in the history of Baltimore. And so many of these buildings have been either preserved or restored. This is an urgent care center here that was in an historic building across the street. Hi, Abbas. But Baltimore makes use of its historic buildings, and whether they're preserving it to turn into museums like the Baltimore Museum of Industry. And I was saying when I started the stream, this great big huge crane has been many different colors during my lifetime. It has been like a rusty gray, a big bright orange, and now it's green. And it's just a landmark. This is in Maryland. This is Baltimore, Maryland. And as we continue on Key Highway past the Museum of Industry, this is where, okay, there's also a lot of traffic. This is where shipbuilding and ship repairs occur. But you can see here, and the sign's not on yet, maybe by the time, maybe in short order, the Domino Sugar sign will be on. This is where sugar comes in from all around the world, wherever, I'm guessing, in the Caribbean, where the sugar comes from. It comes here to be refined and packaged. So if wherever you live, if you have Domino Sugar, this is it right here in Baltimore. Another huge industry in Baltimore in this very neighborhood is Under Armour. And the world headquarters of Under Armour is just around the way. I don't know if we'll get down there today, although it It's kind of close. It's a little bit of a dangerous walk to go that way just because of the traffic. Got to cross a little mini highway. Hello, Havanas from Devon. Oh, lovely. Well, it's, what's it, 10 o'clock there? 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock there. Great to see you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Yeah, I was hoping to get a kind of an interesting sunset today. You can get a peek at some of the office buildings across the harbor here. But this is the industrial zone here in South Baltimore, Maryland, in the good old United States of America. Thanks for joining. So we're going to start here, and then we're going to walk through a residential area. You will see some of those typical Baltimore row houses, brick with white marble steps. It's a tradition. But this area has been built up. So amid all of these traditional, long-standing industry buildings here, the General Ship Repair Corporation, are brand new apartments and condos. This is the cool place to live. This is an area for young families, folks who work downtown at our hospitals. What is this channel about? Fortico, I love architecture. And so wherever I'm traveling, I take little walks to appreciate architecture, old and new. Doesn't have to be old historic architecture, but I really do appreciate old historic architecture. But you'll see here, brand new architecture. This is called Anthem House. These are fancy apartments. Right, steps from the Domino Sugar Plant and the Baltimore Museum of Industry. Thank you, Fortico, that's really kind. Hey, Zimpler, great to see you. So we're not having film club today. Thank you, Amar. Film club is going to be tomorrow. Our film is Sergeant York. I had a seminar today. So, up here in Baltimore. And so we couldn't do film club today, and my co-hosts were gracious enough to allow us to reschedule for tomorrow. So we'll be on Stasis Geeks channel tomorrow at our usual time for Sergeant York. A little history of me and the city. Yeah, this is my hometown. This is the city that I grew up in. And so for this one, I know Baltimore. I know every street, every sidewalk, most of the buildings. And the Domino Sugar sign just came on. So I don't know if you can see that. If I zoom, what happens if I try to zoom? It works. Okay. So you may have noticed the Domino Sugar sign. It's a pinky orange color. And it is visible from many parts of the city. So yeah, it's that beautiful golden hour of sunset, and even though there are clouds heading our way, we might get a good view. Oh, check that out. Okay, I'm in the middle of the street, but that's a sunset view if I ever saw one, huh? FedEx truck just got in my way. Destroyed my shot. That's okay. Well, YouTube, while I do very much appreciate the invitation, I'll have to decline. But it's a polite decline. I'm making a polite decline. Yeah, we do get these, this time of year, sometimes we'll get a fantastic sunset like we're seeing today, with grays and blues and purples and peaches. Where is this? Hey, Belfast, this is Baltimore, Maryland. This is the south part, south of the Inner Harbor. We're gonna check out some historic buildings, some historic industry, some residences, talk a little bit about history. Mixed in with all the history are these new apartments and condos and shopping complexes. Actually makes this a really great part of the city to live and work and play. I sound old when I say this, but lots of young people and young families. But I want to take a look at this. So one other important, very important part of Baltimore is our history with the railroad. The very first railroad in the United States of America began in Baltimore, that way, about a mile that way. The Baltimore and Ohio Railroad was begun on July 1st, 1828. And some of the interesting kind of nods to our railroad history can be found everywhere. And here, these little benches are on rails. They're made to look like rail cars on rails. These are just benches to sit on. But if you can see, there's little wheels. And they move. And the little rail cars. Hi, Wisner. This is Baltimore. This is Baltimore. Here, I think you can see it best on this one. This little bench on a little tiny rail car. Kind of a nod to our history. Now, here's another building. Preserved, reused. This, I don't know the date. I'm gonna guess. This looks about late 1800s here. But so many industrial buildings from the mid to late 1800s here in this part of Baltimore, all because of the railroad and because of the port of Baltimore. So goods and fish. Yeah, Anthony, I can't disagree with you there. Goods and fish and seafood would come into the port just a block from here and then be transported on the rails, not these little tiny rails, but on the railroad, and make their way across the entire country from right here in Baltimore. This is where transportation began in the United States. Well, thank you for joining from Europe. I so appreciate it. I really do. And then you can see the water tower there. We're not playing Main Street Bingo. If we were, there's the water tower for McHenry Row, which is a whole development of apartments and condos. Fort McHenry, which we visited not too long ago. We were there in September for Defenders Weekend. Fort McHenry is down this street, this away. Along with Under Armour Field. So Under Armour's world headquarters is here. It's over that way. Someday we'll visit it. It's a cool building. But Under Armour supports local athletics here in Baltimore, as you might imagine. So lots of parks and athletic fields sponsored by Under Armour here. But we're going to go this way and check out the beautiful typical Baltimore row houses, which are iconic. I hate that word sometimes, but they really are. Hey, Anthony, yeah, I know. There's zombies everywhere around here. I hear you. This is what the unemployed are doing today. I don't know what the unemployed are doing today. Hopefully looking for a job. Hopefully getting help they need to find a job. This is Fort Avenue, named for Fort McHenry, where the Star-Spangled Banner was written in 1814. And we're just going to take a quick walk west. Is it west? Yeah, west on Fort Avenue to check out the row houses. Thank you all for joining me. Have I found a job yet? I have too many jobs, let me tell you. I just finished a seminar all day learning right here. And now I'm enjoying the sunset in a beautiful city with a lot of folks joining me. So thank you so much for joining me. We do have some beautiful colors in the sky today. It might just be about too late, but some wild clouds nonetheless. All right, let me make my way across the street before. You got to know what to do with the traffic here. You can't be shy. There's a view of the harbor. I'm probably in the world's worst spot. You can kind of see a little tiny peek of the harbor there. But this is what we're looking for today. These typical Baltimore row houses. Thank you, Zempler. Thank you, Glacier. Very nice to see you. Anthony, oh, you moved to Charlotte, North Carolina from Florida. Oh, from Miami. That's a big change. That's definitely a change. So when we visited most of the residences that we've looked at in Washington, D.C., I've made a point of sharing how the residences are individual versus continuous rows of houses or row houses. So the difference between a townhouse and a row house. This is Baltimore. Yes, Baltimore, Maryland, USA. So these here, these are houses. These are homes. These are small row homes that back in the day, these date back to the late 1800s. Back in the day, this is where the workers lived. All the folks who worked on the water, which is a block from here, right? The stevedores, the folks who worked to build the railroad, the folks who worked in the seafood industry. This is where they would live, but 2 or 3 families would live in each one of these homes. No kidding. They were not built as apartments. They were built as single family houses, but sometimes a single family could not afford it. So sometimes several families lived in one of these townhomes. Yeah, in the middle of the city, our neighborhoods, each one of our neighborhoods is like a little mini small town. And each one of our neighborhoods was characteristically tight-knit around a church or multiple churches and around ethnic communities. So here in this part of Baltimore, German, some Irish, eventually later in the late 1800s, early 1900s, Polish, Russian, Ukrainian. On the other side of the harbor, Greek and Italian immigrants came to settle the city. But the folks here, mostly German, Irish, some English, really not a lot of French here, maybe a handful. But in this part of the city, these were the folks who worked on the water. And so these townhomes, brick in a slightly modified federal style, kind of imitating that federal style from the late 1700s. Here you're seeing brick steps, but as we go along, we might see some of those iconic white marble steps of Baltimore. Glacier, that is extra kind of you. Thank you. You're in Reisterstown. Pitt, I think you've been to my channel before, Pitt. Yeah, Reisterstown is really close. Yes, Devil Dog. Maryland was the only Catholic colony and also meant to be religious tolerance. So Catholic colony, but was supposed to be welcoming of all. Really didn't welcome of all, but you know, yeah. Let's see. Wait, I saw something else I wanted to say. Wait, let's see. Liberio, nice to see you. Belfast, that's really kind. Anthony, you said it looks like Philadelphia. Yes, so we've visited Philadelphia. I'm kind of walking through this little restaurant area here, post-COVID. Some of our restaurants continue to serve outside. Baltimore, also known for its corner bars. We've taken a few walks to look at corner bars. People in these neighborhoods, you can imagine, living on one of these blocks could be 300-400 people. They work together, they worship together, their kids go to school together, and at night they want to hang out together. Baltimore, going way back to the 1800s, had a bar on every corner. And we still do. And we still do. We like to get together and gather and be social. Baltimoreans are so social and fiercely loyal to each other. I don't care what you hear on television. I don't care what kind of social strife the media tries to create. Baltimoreans of every race, creed, color, religion, occupation, social class are tight. And they will fight for each other to the end. They are loyal to each other. And that includes those who've recently transplanted here too. You don't have to be born in Baltimore to feel like you're from Baltimore and to be close. And those who don't thrive here, generally I find, those are people who don't understand what being a neighbor is and looking out for each other and caring for each other and sweeping your sidewalk and cleaning up after your dog and washing your windows and all that cool stuff. It is community. It is community here. And as you can tell, I'm kind of proud to be from here. I really am. People hang out on their steps, the front stoop, at all times of year. Now, some of our restaurants are a little fancier today than they used to be back in the day. These smaller side streets, you know, we talk about crime in Baltimore. You know how we fight crime? We put cool lights up all year long. We put lights up in our little communities and on our streets so that people can see where they're going and they feel safe. But it's also decoration and it's also unity. Yeah, there will be some litter. Well, we're not the cleanest folk, but we do take care. And what has happened over the years, these small townhomes, you'll see this one on the corner, has a rooftop deck added to it. So for the most part, I'm generalizing here, for the most part, instead of tearing down the old rundown houses, folks have rehabbed the old rundown houses and in their minds improved upon them. And in many cases that meant adding a few stories because these are small homes. So what do? You add another floor. And when you add another floor, you get a great view of the Baltimore Harbor and a great view of things like fireworks and parades and all kind of cool things happening in the city. French pastry shop here on the corner. This one's closed. It's past breakfast time. Yeah, this is a neighborhood. We call it a neighborhood, you know. Is Omar still? No, sadly. And sadly, that actor passed away. So sorry. Is it Baltimore? Yes, it is Baltimore. Home of The Wire, home of Homicide, Life on the Street, but home to iconic Baltimore row houses. Brick, and in most cases with white marble steps. Here we got more brick steps than white marble steps. But we're going up a hill. So, yeah, some of the elevations are different. Is this Dundalk? This is south of the harbor. This is Fort McHenry. Yes, Bartak. Yes, we're on Fort Avenue near Fort McHenry. Bartak, are you local, hun? Are you local, hun? We're checking out and just admiring the beautiful Baltimore row home. The iconic, the best of the best. The Baltimore row home. No, it's not a townhome, as some people feel embarrassed to say they live in a row home. It is wonderful to live in a row home. Now, except, I will get judgy right here. In the 1960s, I think it was the 1960s and 70s, some of our row home owners wanted to make their houses look like they had stone fronts on them. Okay, they got tired of the brick. They weren't feeling the brick. And so they went with this. This is called Formstone. And it literally is concrete painted into forms to look like stone. Formstone. It is tragic. It is despicable. I don't like Formstone. I grew up in a Formstone house. I much prefer the brick. I much prefer the natural brick. What's the difference between a row home and a townhome? So this is not official, but a row home, they're all built kind of together, right? Like these were obviously built one of a townhome. To me, townhomes are individual residences that are a little more distinct from each other. That's me. That's probably not the correct architectural definition. Now this one, if you can get a look at this one, that's a triple deck roof deck on the top of that one. 3 levels of a roof deck, taking this home from a 3-story home to a 6-story home to give a great view. Yes, Trish. Yes. So Baltimore, the port of Baltimore, just steps from here. This is where the immigrants came, actually. Just steps from here. The port of Baltimore, the second busiest port in the United States for immigration, next to Ellis Island. And so if your relatives, or if you or your family landed in anywhere in the Midwest, or the far west, or the north, or the central part of the United States, or Chicago, or they probably came through Baltimore. Lots of Polish and Russian immigrants came through Baltimore. So you can trace your roots right back here in many cases. Now these are those iconic white marble steps. Now, in order to keep them white, you have to scrub them every day. I don't want to be judgy about anyone's steps, but you do have to, not every day, every week. You have to scrub those steps every week to keep them glimmering white. So I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge. Is this AI? Who asks me all the time if this is AI? I am not AI. I'm a human. A human. Checking out Fort Avenue in Baltimore. And along the way, checking out the beautiful architecture and some corner bars. Because bars on every corner. That's what we do. Hey, hon! I am from Baltimore, born and bred. And there's still corner bars everywhere. Thank God. Thank God for the corner bars. There's a nice view. I know these drivers get impatient with me, but I'm not running across the street. Now check this one out. We've got a ghost sign here. This was Fort Avenue Pharmacy. Sylvan J. Salad prescriptions carefully compounded. Drugs, sundries, and sodas. And then is this wholesome bread? I think so. I think that's an old wholesome bread ad. Pint or pail? No, it's not wholesome bread. Oh, not sure what it says. Something by the pint or pail. But this was an old pharmacy on the corner. Hi, is this Canada? No, this is Baltimore, Maryland, USA. Now, we've gone from some rather simple 2-story or 3-story Baltimore row houses. And now as we get to this block, you can see the bay windows, the rounded facades on these buildings. Those who owned and lived here probably were a little more well off than those who lived in the 2-story townhomes. So as we get closer to the downtown, we're seeing a little tiny bit more affluence, maybe a little tiny more, just a little bit more. So in addition to the brick, hey, great to see you. In addition to the traditional brick and the traditional white marble steps, Baltimoreans, many of them, proudly fly an American flag outside their homes. And because they don't have backyard, land, they have small backyards, lots of container gardens outside of the homes throughout Baltimore. Southeast Texas in Piney Woods. Great to see you. I do apologize. I'm always astounded that so many people are here. I realize I can't get to all the chat. So I apologize if I'm not getting to your messages. Oh my word. Okay, someone has already decorated for Christmas. It's too early. Okay, I don't want to get in people's stuff, but there's a Christmas tree. There's a Christmas tree. There's a 10-foot Christmas tree through that window there. Okay. The whole house is decorated. The banister's decorated. Oh my gosh. But here, 2 doors down, still got the Halloween stuff up. So it's too early for Christmas. Thank you, Zempler. Show us the hood before it gets dark. Depends on what you call the hood. I know what you mean. No, we're not going there. We're not going there. Now here is some other beauty. Stained glass works above the windows. Hi! Above the windows and above the transoms over the doors. Another iconic Baltimore touch with that stained glass. But we haven't seen any painted window screens. I'm always looking for painted window screens. Another corner bar. Oh, West Virginia is beautiful. Glacier, if you move to Baltimore, what you need to know it's just we're a hardworking community. We have our problems, but we absolutely get along. We absolutely get along. You also have to know that the summers are really hot. The winters can be really cold. You will experience all 4 seasons here in Baltimore. We're in the Mid-Atlantic, the heart of the Mid-Atlantic, really. We're the mid of the Mid-Atlantic. So you've got to be prepared to drive in the snow. You've got to be prepared for heat and humidity. You have to be a Ravens fan and an Orioles fan. You have to love sports, basically. Just love sports. Yeah, I don't know about New York going forward. I love New York, but I don't know. We'll have to see what happens there. People here are super friendly. They just are. If you encounter someone in Baltimore who's not friendly, then they're not from Baltimore. If you encounter someone in Baltimore who does not work hard and sweat, then they're not from Baltimore. They were not raised here. This is a blue-collar town that is just so proud of that. You work hard, you get rewards. Hey, Kim, nice to see you again. I think you've joined me before. It's nice to have you. Lord Peter Whimsy, nice to see you. House of John Waters, yes. Hairspray, Pink Flamingos, Crybaby. All those good John Waters films. David Chase, eventually the creator of The Sopranos, but, created Homicide, Life on the Street, and The Wire. Big fan of Baltimore. Hi, Suzanne. Nice to see you. Hello, I am blocked. Am I blocked? No? Are you? Hey, Big Ben, is it warm weather? It actually is. It's 70 right now. But I think on Tuesday or Wednesday, it's supposed to be below 0. So when the seasons change, they usually change hard and then they won't come back. So it'll go below 0 this week and then we'll be feeling cold. Then we'll be feeling chilly. But another one of those just cool, probably a former pharmacy on that corner, drugstore, really cool corner shop. over there. All the lights are coming on the sidewalks. Hat Mart, Deli and Market. The little corner stores and corner bars. Makes for a great place to be. Hey Larry, Philly in the house. I am gonna be in Philly probably in another week or two. Love Philly. Love Philly. Tons of history. The homes are also, you know, definitely worth a tour, with homes going back primarily with more in the 1700s than Baltimore. Baltimore, there are a handful that go back to the 1700s in the Fells Point and like Federal Hill area. Just a handful. In Maryland, most of those are going to be in the Annapolis area for homes that old. But in Philly, you can't sneeze without finding a home that's from the 1700s. And we're real close to the downtown. You can see the old World Trade Center here. I don't know what we call it now. The names of these buildings, you know, they're always sponsored by somebody else. Another corner bar. Place to be. Yeah, Annapolis is great. And someone requested last week that I go, you know, tour Annapolis. I had done that about a month ago. Walked over the Spa Creek Bridge, taken a good look at some yachts. But I will do that again sometime soon. We'll go more into the old architecture there. Am I from Wisconsin? No, I'm from Baltimore. Baltimore. Thoughts on Frederick? Frederick, we did the tour on that Carroll Creek. We walked all the way up, all the art exhibits on Carroll Creek. And then down Frederick Main Street, but we didn't do a Main Street bingo. We will do a Main Street bingo in Frederick sometime soon. And we're not doing Main Street bingo today because I didn't know how long I'd be here today. Haircuts on the corner. Little churches. Church is also an important part of all of these neighborhoods in Baltimore. Lots of Catholic churches, Methodists, Lutherans, everyone. We invite everyone here. It's the place to be. It is the place to be. Terry, hey, nice to see you, Terry Taylor. Petre, Romeo, nice to see you. Any shootouts? No. So if you check out my stream in Georgetown, not too long ago. So I start off my stream and I'm just chatting politely. And within 2 minutes of starting the stream, there is some definite pew pew going on. I mean, right near me. So that was my Georgetown stream. And that was fun. Now this, you can probably guess what this was. This is an historic, no longer firehouse here in Baltimore. This is like a 1 or 2 engine firehouse. And in some parts of Baltimore, the older firehouses have been turned into restaurants or event venues and all kinds of cool places. This one just looks closed. You know, as technology improved and also building construction improved, we didn't need a firehouse every so many blocks. There are so many in Baltimore back in the day. In 1904, Baltimore suffered the Great Baltimore Fire when about 1/3 of the downtown district was burned to the ground. My great-grandmother was 3 when it happened in February of 1904. Her home was, I would say, 6 blocks from where the fire started, and thankfully the fire went in the other direction. But these buildings, I like the architecture. I like anything brick. Everything brick is pretty cool. Am I an historian? Yes, I am, but this is not my area. My area of study and some things I've published is on battlefield geography. So architecture is more of a hobby. I'm not an architect. I'm not an architectural historian. I do work in historic preservation. I volunteer for historic preservation projects, but I'm not an architect. I'm not an expert. I try to learn and document and research and certainly advocate for preservation, but I'm not an expert. My hope is that someday, 100 years from now, 200 years from now, somebody might be looking to see where their ancestor lived, and maybe they'll find one of my videos and they'll see the kinds of places where their ancestors lived. Exemplar, you can't, because with all respect, I don't share my name. So the name of my channel is not my name. And so I don't want to dox myself. Maybe when I get older, we'll see. But I try to stay anonymous online. I think that's a good thing to do. I think if you find any of my publications, you'll not only find my name, but you'll find where I work, where I volunteer, everything about me. So, VFW Hall, Veterans of Foreign Wars. These are also located throughout Baltimore, a city of hardworking people, people with large families where their sons were drafted or had to choose to go to war to help support a family, have large and very proud veteran populations. Today, no more veterans of World War I, of course. I can't imagine any veterans, maybe a handful of veterans from World War II, maybe. But these VFW halls and American Legion halls still exist. We have many veterans from Vietnam, Korea, the War on Terror, Iraq. Really proud families here. You see a lot of American flags. South Side Saloon. Do I know the famous spot, Pennsylvania, where there were talent shows and singers? Oh, you mean on Pennsylvania Avenue, Terry? Like where U.B. Blake was and Billie Holiday? Baltimore's Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm just going to get a little peek in here. This is what a corner bar looks like. This is a corner bar. Just locals hanging out at the bar. Just hanging out. Some of them don't mind my camera. Some of them mind my camera. So try not to get in people's faces when they're having a beer. I can imagine back in the day, some of the men didn't want their wives to know they were at the corner bar when they should be home doing chores. If those walls could talk, right? If those walls could talk. Hey, Hans, H2210 from Germany. Oh my gosh, Montana is wonderful. I only spent like literally a day there because I was in Yellowstone, and you know, the little part of Yellowstone that's in Montana. But you know, all the places I want to go to when I retire, it's on my list. We finally found them. Painted screens. Hallelujah. So another Baltimore tradition, in addition to the white marble steps, the brick homes, and the stained glass above the windows, are painted screens. Now, why on earth would you paint screens? Well, first, for some decorative interest, of course. And they're almost always painted with local scenes. Like this is Domino's Sugar, right down the street. And the corner store right across the street. Kind of to memorialize what the neighborhood looked like. There's that corner store, right? Today it's Hat Mart, which is kind of strange. But in the picture, it's Lucky's. We have a lot of Lucky's in this area, used to, around kind of south of Baltimore, Anne Arundel County, Glen Burnie, Pasadena, Odenton. There were a lot of Lucky's. But that's part of that Baltimore those painted screens. So why would you paint a screen? Besides to be decorative, it allowed you to open the window, but it did screen you from the sun. If you painted the screen, less of the sunlight came in, so you would stay, it would be cooler. And folks here didn't have air conditioning in many parts of the city until the late 1980s. I am not kidding, because I lived here, and we did not have air conditioning until like I was a kid. So just saying. We also didn't have cable TV for a long time. Has to do with the electricity or something. Hey, Ashley. Ashley, that's awesome. Yeah, we have our big Domino's sugar plant right here. We'll go down to the water and check it out in just a minute. Taking a look down the little side streets. Enjoying all the little corner pubs and bars. The lights are coming up. The lights are coming up. Daryl. Ashley, hi, this is Baltimore, Maryland, United States of America. And we're taking a wonderful stroll down Fort Avenue near Fort McHenry. We've done a stream from Fort McHenry. We're just looking at, I'll call this variations on row houses. So unlike when we walk through Washington, D.C., and we're looking at townhomes, each one is very different, right? But here, it's just variations on the same theme. It's a brick row house. In some cases, they put this terrible Formstone on front, and okay, whatever. Hashim, yes, we are a Ravens town. Gerald, it's nice to see you. Thank you for stopping by. But variations on this same old row house, and it's kind of cool to just kind of look down the street and you can see how uniform they are. Whereas in Washington, D.C., they're not. Each one is varied. So here you have a Formstone painted white with gray steps, brick, just with different touches and different accents. Some accented in white or black or beige. The sidewalks leave a lot to be desired, though. Okay, if I must say, this is why I'm walking super slow. And I'm sorry, this is also why I don't see the chat very much, because I have to look down to make sure I know where. Well, Hashim, thank you. You are too kind. Kim, I do too. I like the ones that are actually like real stone, and I'll show you the one across the street. I don't mind the Formstone if it's painted. This natural Formstone looks terrible because it starts to look dirty really soon. But I'll show you this one across the street that's painted that I really like. And the street lights come on and you feel safe at night because it's well lit. The city's well lit. But I don't know if you can get a look at that one across the street. That blue one with the white accents around the door and the window frames, that's the kind of Formstone I like. If it's painted, I'm all good with it. And that one stands out. Hey, Raleigh Roll from the Bronx, nice to see you. Do they still build houses and buildings? Yes, they do. Oh, and that street light just came on really bright. Yes, they do. So there are some blocks of new construction where they've, torn down an old factory or something. And they'll build row houses to look like these traditional row houses. And they'll build them in brick. Unfortunately, they don't have the white marble steps. It's just, I guess marble is too expensive. Now this one's not open. Mind Pub, not open. Where are all the people? They're in all these corner bars. Annette, they're in the corner bars now. It's 5:11. They're having dinner now, early dinner. That building there, that's one of the new constructions. You can see it has a lighthouse motif on the top. It's red now. It's going to cycle to yellow. If you can see that, let me see if I can do this. If you can see the top of that building from the other side, from the opposite side of the harbor, where my parents live, It looks like a lighthouse. But yeah, you got your corner carryouts. You got your corner liquor store, because, you know, you need that. And your corner bars. And everybody's staking out their corner bar for the evening. Or several, you know. They will choose several for the evening. I just like the way that looks. The blue with the red. It is, what is it, 5:12? Yeah, we dropped our clocks back last week. This is Baltimore, Maryland, Jess. This is downtown Baltimore, Maryland. This is south of the Inner Harbor.
Yeah.
We're on Fort Avenue near Fort McHenry, and we're just checking out row houses at night. Row houses and corner bars. Oh, goodness. Okay, the first floor, basement floor. I know, I say it incorrectly for those of you in Europe. Okay, so what we call our first floor, you call the ground floor, and what we call our second floor, you call the first floor, and I don't know what you call the basement. 0 floor, maybe? David, my father was born in Harlem, 125th, in 1925. Italian and Irish neighborhood back then. Oh my gosh, rolly roll. Crab cakes, yes. Crab cakes are always good. And then sometimes you had a bar in the middle of the block, like this one here. Barflies. It doesn't have to be a corner bar. It can be a middle of the block bar. Everybody hanging out at the bar, enjoying a nice drink. Cozy neighborhood bar here. Hey, just saying hi. Cozy neighborhood in Baltimore. Everybody just hanging out. You make your best friends. Total strangers can be your best friends by the end of the night in a corner bar. I'm gonna copyright that. It is, depending on the neighborhood, you know, if it's about the people and the vibe, you know, I know you don't have row houses in England, but, you know, corner pubs, corner bars. I love what they did here. Look at this. Yeah, skulls and skeletons were definitely the theme this Halloween. Everywhere, skulls and skellies of every kind. All over the place this Halloween. I think we passed going this way. Now we're passing going this way. Check this one out. Folks outside, the heaters aren't even on outside right now. It's nice. It's still quite warm. Get the view down to the harbor. I do. So 40, that's the other thing, you know. I do have a desk job during the day. So walking, I was planning to go to do a Main Street bingo tomorrow, but it's probably going to rain. So when I finished up what I was doing tonight, I wanted to make sure I got out and walked a little bit. Hi, Bronwyn. This is Baltimore, Maryland. We are south of the Inner Harbor. We're on Fort Avenue, and if we just kept walking, we would be at Fort McHenry. Historic Fort McHenry. Were those houses near the bar? Oh yeah, houses just right next to the bar. Yeah. Yep, corner bar. Could be in the middle of the block a bar. Houses right next door. You get used to the noise. In some of the neighborhoods, there's a bar on one corner and a church on another corner. I kid you not. No kidding. And in a lot of places in Baltimore, and I'll stop walking for a sec so the camera can focus in. But so many of Baltimore's neighborhoods have adopted these lights if you can kind of catch the lights across the street there. You know, it helps you feel safe. Baltimore has its problems. It is not nearly what is depicted on the news or in the media. It's a great place to live. It's a great place for families. Some would say it's a great place for pets. I don't agree with that. I don't like the dogs because some people don't clean up after their dogs. Just saying. Daryl, you're very kind. Thank you. Is it an expensive place to live? Fantastic question, because a lot of folks who, Baltimore's finest, a lot of folks who work in Washington, D.C. live in Baltimore and commute because Baltimore is so much cheaper than Washington, D.C. So you can get that same city experience for a lot less. Baltimore is a very livable city. And then someone just, I think, asked about the bridge that fell down. Famous bridge in Baltimore. Well, there are a couple famous bridges, but about 2 years ago, it was the Francis Scott Key Bridge, not too far from here, that was struck by a container ship and collapsed in the middle of the night. And now there's always a line up front. This must be, whatever this shop is, has probably, I guess, the best food in the world, because there is always a line out front of here. And it's called Ikeben. So it must be, is it Japanese food? What is it? Oh, ribs. Okay. This place, no matter when I'm here, has a line outside the door. So this is a ribs place. So everybody go here for ribs. Must be good. But yeah, that bridge collapsed, and thankfully, or sadly, 6 people lost their lives, but thankfully it wasn't hundreds of people, because it happened at 1 a.m. and basically no one was on the bridge. Unfortunately, some workers were doing maintenance on the bridge, and it's being rebuilt right now. It is a major artery, like the beltway that encircles Baltimore, like the main highway. That was part of it. So the detours right now are tough, and it's been tough for a few years. What do I know about Charles Village? Oh, Charles Village. We'll have to walk there sometime. Last week we walked Mount Vernon, which was one of the kind of shishi neighborhoods back in the day. Charles Village, another more upscale neighborhood. We'll have to take... The problem with Charles Village is there are... Well, no, I think you can. I was going to say there are a few parts that actually don't have sidewalks. One reason I like to walk in the cities is because sidewalks. And recently I drove past some beautiful homes, you know, kind of in one of the counties of Maryland, and I really wanted to stop and video. There was absolutely nowhere to stand safely because in some of our counties there are no sidewalks, which is annoying. It is Baltimore, Art of Madness. This is south of the Inner Harbor. We just took a wonderful walk up and down Fort Avenue to check out the homes there. This is another great restaurant, by the way, Limoncello, Italian, superb, absolutely superb restaurant. You can see we have the bike lanes, so it is a bikeable, rideable city. There are hills. It's not an easy city if you're biking. It's hilly. What's the rent for those apartments? Okay, so these, because they're new, these apartments would be pretty expensive, I'll tell you. I don't know. My rough guess for like a 2-bedroom would be $3,500, but that's a rough guess. I could be really wrong on that. I could be way wrong on that. That's a drink in Italy. Seattle is better. I haven't been to Seattle in years. Like, I don't know, 15 years. It's been a long time. I know I hiked Mount Rainier though. I did that. Well, there we go. Okay, so that's doable. That is doable. A studio apartment would be fine. 600 to 1,000. That's not too bad. Now we're heading back to where we started from. And it's dark now. We started and it was just starting to go sunset, and now the lights are on. And we can look at that beautiful Domino's sugar sign. Just one of those iconic things in Baltimore. You know where you are by where you can see the Domino's sugar sign. And then a little tiny peek at the Baltimore skyline. Just a little peek. And okay, we're gonna be dazzled a bit by these ambulance lights. But I was trying to get the crane here, the Baltimore Museum of Industry crane, the lights change color, which is kind of cool. Oh, it's still light in Tampa. Yeah, because you're south of us. You've got more, you're lower in latitude. You get more sunshine than we do. Well, everyone, hey, thank you for joining me on my little jaunt up and down Fort Avenue here in Baltimore, just south of the harbor. We took a look at our industrial heritage. We took a look at some iconic row homes. We had some great chat. We checked out some corner bars. Matthew, great to see you from Woodbury. Excellent. Is Maryland the South? Okay, Casey, great question. So Maryland is south of the Mason-Dixon line. However, the geographic split between north and south really is the Potomac River. So we're north of the Potomac River. So to me, we're north. But one could argue whether Mason and Dixon's line meant the difference between north and south. I think we're mid-Atlantic, and we are the most mid-Atlantic, like the middle, not mid, not like not good, but mid-Atlantic. So that's what I tend to say. I think by our accents, people from the south think we're from the north, and people from the north think we're southerners. So our accents are quite unique. How do I know when it's safe to cross? Fortico, I just pray. Because the lights sometimes don't help. The lights definitely don't help. Patrick from Ireland, great to see you. Well, everyone, thank you so much. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. There will not be a stream tomorrow unless the weather breaks, because it's supposed to rain tomorrow. So I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. Hope to see you soon. If you would, please like the stream. I would really appreciate it. If you like these little walks through historic, not just Baltimore and Washington, but I travel a lot. So if you like to join me for walks to talk about history and architecture, please consider subscribing. Great to see so many of you here tonight. Take care.